What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers have signed Jordan Goodwin to a two-way deal, waiving Armel Traore. So Armel Traore is now officially off team. They could do what they did with Quincy Olivari, right? If he wants to stay with the Lakers kind of under their umbrella, like we saw with Quincy, where he got waived on a two-way, and the Lakers brought him back to the G League roster. So look out for that with Armel Traore, because Lakers were really high on him, really did like him. He's 6'9", 6'10", versatile guard, or versatile forward that could play either forward spot, even small ball center. I really liked his defense and versatility. He's one of the guys that I really wanted to keep. But Lakers clearly are high on Trey Jemison and as well as Christian Koloko. Right? Those are probably two of the guys that they're looking to kind of grow, develop, maybe even bring one of those guys in. But now you got Jordan Goodwin. Now, I like Jordan Goodwin. We've talked about Jordan Goodwin before because the Lakers had brought him on to a training camp deal and stuff and have kind of kept an eye on him since. Jordan Goodwin, his two strengths are rebounding at the guard position. He is an excellent rebounder for a guard. I mean, very good rebounder. Like, think of like a guy like Josh Hart. Right, Josh Hart might be a little better, but think of a guy like Josh Hart, right? Josh Hart is just the do everything, dirty work guy, and you usually look up and you're like, dude, he got like 8 rebounds. He's averaging like 8 boards. Like, how did that happen, right? Like, that's what Jordan Goodwin can provide. Just a very good rebounder, good defensive guy. Not elite, nothing like that, but he's got good size, good strength, good hands to stay in front of guys. So he's a guy that I do think makes some sense for the Lakers. We've talked about bringing him on in the past. Like if you opened up a roster spot, having him kind of come on and play a role for the Lakers, especially. They signed him to a two-way, so I don't think that they're going to necessarily rush to bring him into the main roster, because if he was the guy, if he was the one that they were ready to bring on and that's it, we don't need no one else, Jordan Goodwin's the guy who's taking the final spot, they would have just assigned him to that final spot. What I think this is them kind of taking the time to evaluate. Like I talked about, the Lakers are probably not going to rush into going in and bringing in that 15th roster spot, right? They cleared it off. They will fill it at some point, but I imagine, again, I could be wrong, that maybe they sign somebody today, right? Like, who knows? But my guess is that the Lakers are going to take their time, see what does this team really need, right? Can Jackson Hayes fill in that backup role, right? Does he look better because now he has Luka, and Luka loves that lob threat guy, and now Jackson Hayes can be that lob threat guy and that athletic floor running big man, right? Like, so maybe Luka turns him into like a 15-point-a-game guy, and he's like great off the bench, right? That could be a possibility. Or do we need yes, we need perimeter help, right? But do we need like, a 6'5" to 6'7" guy, kind of like a Christie replacement type guy at the 2? Or do we need a bigger guy, like a 6'8" to 6'9" guy that can be versatile out there on the perimeter, right? Like, I imagine the Lakers are going to take their time kind of evaluating what does this team really need, what is the biggest hole, what can we address, and then also who becomes available, right? Like, what kind of guy becomes available off of a buyout, right? Obviously, keep in mind, again, Lakers cannot sign anybody making more than $12.8 million. So for those that are like, oh, I see a lot of people like, hey, Ben Simmons, go get Ben Simmons. Lakers cannot sign Ben Simmons. So keep that in mind. But if the Lakers can find the right piece, the right player, then yes, bring him in. As long as he's making under $12.8 million. But to kind of dive into Jordan Goodwin here a little bit, he's still 26 years old, so he kind of fits the team dynamic, right? Like, everyone's like 25 to 26 range. You look at like, Rui and guys like that, and Austin Reeves, that 25 to 27 range. So Jordan Goodwin would fit right into that. He's 6'3", again, but defends bigger, plays bigger, right? He's 6'3", 200 pounds. But he's a guy that, again, just rebounds very well for the position, especially for a guy that is, 6'3". But you look at last year with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Phoenix Suns is what he played with. Played in 40 games for Phoenix, 17 games for the Memphis Grizzlies. With Phoenix, he averaged 14 minutes per game. He got 4.8 field goal attempts per game, shot 40% from the floor. Three-point shooting, he's not good. He's never been a good three-point shooter. He's a career 31% three-point shooter, and that is me rounding up. So not a guy that's really going to give you threes. Again, just a guy that's going to give you defense, floor runner, right? Give you a guy that rebounds the basketball at the guard position. And then from two-point range with the Phoenix Suns, he shot 46% from 2-point range on 2.8 attempts, EFG of 44.8%. Free throw line, he shot 86% for them. And then 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, half a block, and then 5 points per game. But with Memphis, in 17 games, averaged 29 minutes per game. And in that 29 minutes per game, again, shot 31.1% from 3-point range on 3.6 attempts compared to 2. So he actually shot better on a higher percentage. Again, 31% is not great, but, shooting more, making more, that's good. And then 7.5 2-point attempts per game. He shot 36, almost 37% from 2-point range. He shot from the foul line, though, 63.3%, which is not good. But this is where he gets good. He averaged 8 rebounds in basically 30 minutes, right? 8 rebounds in 30 minutes for the Memphis Grizzlies, including 3 offensive rebounds per game. He averaged 4.5 assists, 1.5 steals, half a block, and 10 points. This was a 10-8 guy in 30 minutes of action. Again, in a limited role, he's a guy that can give you, 5 rebounds a game, 4 to 5 rebounds a game, give you a couple buckets here and there. The reason he's not on a roster is because he can't shoot or score, right? Like Josh Hart is like the soup-up charged version of Jordan Goodwin, right? Josh Hart isn't like this great elite lights-out three-point shooter, but he shoots better, and he's just a better scorer. He can, knock down the mid-range, get to the basket a little bit, and he's just that hustle play, put-back guy, right? Jordan Goodwin, though, from a guard standpoint, especially now you don't have guys like Anthony Davis. Can you get another center? But even then, right, like, can you get a center that fits next to, a Mark Williams? But also you got guys like Kleba and Christian Wood that are expected to be back at some point, hopefully, fingers crossed. Christian Wood, we still have no word what's ever going to happen with him. Kleba is supposed to be reevaluated in April, so we'll see. Keep an eye out, look out for that. But Jordan Goodwin could give you that guy where it's like, okay, we don't need a center. We're good at the big man department. We could always go small with LeBron and Luka and Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith and Rui Hachimura and just have 5, 6, 8 guys out there. Luka's 6'6", but get the point. Luka would be 6'6". So you have nothing but 6'8" guys around and just kind of go this big versatile lineup. Got all those guys can rebound and stuff. Then you might look at it and go, okay, well, let's get a guard. I'd probably, if I'm being honest, I'd probably rather look at a Markelle Fultz if you're going to do that. Because if you're looking for just defensive purposes and just rebounding and stuff, right? Markelle Fultz still go get you 5 rebounds and 5 assists and play some defense, right? I don't hate the idea of that. I still think Jaden Springer makes a lot of sense. He's 22 years old. I would probably rather bring him in, or at least bring him in on a 2-way. Right? Can you whatever? I would have rather brought him in than Jordan Goodwin. But Lakers are probably also looking at this as he has experience. He's a guy that can come in, play a role, game very good defensively, as you saw, steal and a half. Obviously, that doesn't dictate whether somebody's good defensively, but he is a good defender that can get steals, reads passing lanes well, can disrupt, defend multiple positions. Right? He's a guy that has some utility in value for the Lakers. He's not a guy that I think is absolute game changing. But you're just looking for a guy Lakers have basically their 8 to 9 guys essentially locked up and ready to go. You're just looking for those final guy or two that can come in and really play a role for you in the event, or if on a night guy or two gets the night off, it's hey, throw in Jordan Goodwin. He can kind of play a role. He can kind of play that part. I would probably like somebody a little bigger. Right? Torrey Craig would have been perfect, but unfortunately, Torrey Craig went to the Celtics, so clearly he's not serious about winning. But no, in all seriousness, right? I wouldn't hate Jordan Goodwin. Jordan Goodwin, if the Lakers end up converting him to a main roster spot, fine. But I think I think this is a placeholder, right? They're looking at it as hey, if worst case scenario, we can just bring in Jordan Goodwin, right? I think that they're just kind of holding on to him, housing him until they kind of figure out which direction they want to go and who they want to go with and how they want to go about it. That's kind of my thoughts. That's kind of what I think the Lakers are leading towards. So my guess is that they'll still be patient. They're still going to do their due diligence. They're still going to try to see, okay, is there that guy out there who gets bought out, who becomes available? Because people get bought out, throughout this next month or so, right? So get a guy that's like, all right, I'm sick of here. I'm not getting minutes. Or, one of these teams made some trades or acquisitions for a guy that's in a player and told him like, hey, you're still going to play your 20 minutes. Now the guy's playing, 11 minutes and he's like, all right, if I'm going to play 11 minutes a game, I'd rather go to a Lakers or one of these other teams, something like that. So I think Lakers will be patient, but it would be nice. Use a couple 10 days. Could we get a couple 10-day contracts? That'd be nice, right? Get a couple 10-day guys, but let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? First off, how do you feel about them waiving Armel Traore? I would have liked to keep him. I would have rather probably made a choice between Koloko and Jemison, but I think the Lakers are probably going to, those will be their centers that they bring in next year, right? On vet minimum, guys. It's probably my guess. So they'll have Mark Williams. Then I think they'll bring in Koloko and Jemison as, your two centers, to back it up, your second and third center. Probably how it goes. And those guys give you two completely different looks. So I don't hate that. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love it? Hate it? Mix in the middle? Let me know. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.